Thank you for watching our video. Please give us a big like, subscribe to our channel for new videos every day with amazing cars. Leave us your opinion in the comment section on the video. Thank you.
The automotive world and beyond is buzzing about the massive airbag recall covering many millions of vehicles in the US from nearly 24 brands. Here's what you need to know about the problem: which vehicles may have the defective, shrapnel-shooting inflator parts from Japanese supplier Takata, and what to do if your vehicle is one of them. Latest updates March 15, 2018, 10:30 a.m. Lawyers representing owners of Volkswagen Group, Mercedes-Benz, GM, and FCA models claim that the automakers intentionally delayed action against recalling defective inflators despite knowing about them for years prior to the 2014 recall and, in some cases, well before Honda's first recall in 2008. The suits are part of the multi-district litigation filed to the U.S. District Court in Miami seeking economic damages. They follow the $553 million class action suit brought against Toyota, BMW, Mazda, and Subaru in May 2017. Honda settled for $605 million and Nissan for $97.7 million in August 2017. March 2, 2018, 6 p.m., owners of affected Ford, Mazda, and Fiat Chrysler vehicles in the greater Houston area can opt to schedule a repair in their driveways or office parking lots. The automakers have jointly paid for a door-to-door campaign to alert owners who haven't fixed their cars. Owners may also receive a loaner or a tow to the nearby dealer, as needed. Honda began a similar canvassing program a year ago. The state of Texas has the second highest number of unrepaired vehicles nationwide, and the Houston area is just one of many that is particularly hot and humid, two conditions that make the airbag inflators more likely to rupture. 2 people from the Houston area have died from ruptured Takata inflators. February 27, 2018, 7 p.m., the Australian government has announced the mandatory recall of nearly 4 million cars equipped with Takata-sourced airbag inflators, according to news.com.au. This will supplement a voluntary recall from last fall that saw approximately 1.7 million vehicles affected. Michael Sukkar, Assistant Minister to the Treasurer, noted that this equates to almost 30% of vehicles, around 2 in 7, currently on the road in the country. A list of affected vehicles is available at news.com.au. Many of these vehicles coincide with the long list of recalled U.S. market models listed at the bottom of this page. Last July, Honda confirmed that a man in Australia died because of injuries that resulted from a defective airbag in a 2007 CR-V. The issue involves defective inflator and propellant devices that may deploy improperly in the event of a crash, shooting metal fragments into vehicle occupants. Approximately 42 million vehicles are potentially affected in the United States, and at least 7 million have been recalled worldwide. Update September 28, 2016, affected vehicle numbers, along with improper deployment figures, continue to grow, as detailed in the updates below. Initially, only 6 makes were involved when Takata announced the fault in April 2013, but a Toyota recall in June this year, along with new admissions from Takata that it had little clue as to which cars used its defective inflators, or even what the root cause was, prompted more automakers to issue identical recalls. In July, NHTSA forced additional regional recalls in high-humidity areas including Florida, Hawaii, and the U.S. Virgin Islands to gather removed parts and send them to Takata for review. Another major recall issued on October 20 expanded the affected vehicles across several brands. For its part, Toyota said it would begin to replace defective passenger side inflators starting October 25, if parts are unavailable. However, it has advised its dealers to disable the airbags and affix "Do Not Sit Here" messages to the dashboard.While Toyota says there have been no related injuries or deaths involving its vehicles. A New York Times report in September found a total of at least 139 reported injuries across all automakers. In particular, there have been at least 2 deaths and 30 injuries in Honda vehicles. Update December 12, 2016. These figures are now verified as 11 deaths and 184 injuries in the U.S., as detailed in the updates below. According to the Times, Honda and Takata allegedly have known about the faulty inflators since 2004 but failed to notify NHTSA in previous recall filings, which began in 2008, that the affected airbags had actually ruptured or were linked to injuries and deaths. Takata first said that propellant chemicals were mishandled and improperly stored during assembly, which supposedly caused the metal airbag inflators to burst open due to excessive pressure inside. In July, the company blamed human weather and spurred additional recalls. According to documents reviewed by Reuters, Takata says that rust, bad welds, and even chewing gum dropped into at least one inflator are also at fault. The same documents show that in 2002, Takata's plant in Mexico allowed a defect rate that was 6 to 8 times above acceptable limits, or roughly 60 to 80 defective parts for every 1 million airbag inflators shipped. The company's study has yet to reach a final conclusion and report the findings to NHTSA.
Thank you for watching our video. Please give us a big like, subscribe to our channel for new videos every day with amazing cars. Leave us your opinion in the comment section on the video. Thank you.